Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I'm going to be doing Dragon Man's abilities as fast as possible. As always, there will be a link to the forum in the description below and a timestamp to my first impressions and thoughts. That said, let's dive right in. Dragon Man is a mystic champion with an attack of 2,346 below average, a health pool of 31,398 about average, and a PI of 10,630, 18th at the time of making this video. He is a robot, so he has bleed and poison immunity. In addition, he has armor shattered immunity, and while armor broken, he deals a degen damage every 0.5 seconds, which is increased by 100% potency when he's facing cosmic champions. He has 35% reduced offensive combat power rate, and he gains 1 power charge buff at the start of the fight. This buff causes him to gain 1 bar of power over 8.3 seconds and is removed when he is stunned. If he has 0 power charges active, he creates 1 after 12 seconds, but when he is defending, this is 8 seconds instead. When fighting science champions, if he receives a non-damaging debuff, it pauses the cooldown duration by 0.35 seconds. He has a cornered passive, which while the opponent is against the wall, they gain cornered, causing them to take additional physical damage when struck, and increases potency by 50% per ineptitude or unique buff on the opponent, up to 150% increased potency. The opponent's defensive combat power rate is also reduced by 70% while above 2 bars of power. If the opponent is knocked down, Dragon Man gains a 3-second unblockable buff, and this buff is paused during special attacks. His heavy attacks remove incinerates on the opponent, dealing a burst of energy damage, and if 6 incinerates are removed this way, it has 50% increased damage. His special 1 inflicts a non-stacking 8-second slow on the last hit, and the first hit consumes a 1 power charge to inflict ineptitude debuffs for reducing potency of new Fury, Armor Up, Precision, and Cruelty buffs by 75% for 30 seconds. This can stack and reverse or invert the buff potency. His special 2, all 3 hits inflict a 25-second incinerate, consumes 1 power charge to generate a 30-second Fury buff. His special 3 consumes all power charges, gains an unstoppable buff, which is 4 seconds long per power charge consumed this way, and while the unstoppable is active, 85% of hit damage, not including special 3s, is regenerated instantly. At the special's end, he generates 3 power charge stacks. His awakened ability is when any non-science opponent has specific buffs active, he gains a unique effect, potency increased by 100% versus cosmic champions. And those effects are: if they are regenerating, they have a reduced opponent's regenerate by 35%. If they have power gain, he reduces ability power gain by 35%. If they have fury, he gains armor rating. If they have armor up, he gains attack rating. If they have precision, he gains crit resistance. And if they have cruelty, he gains critical damage resistance. And that is Dragon Man's abilities as fast as possible, with a little bit of stuttering along the way. So that said, as far as first impressions, I want to start by saying rotation. So the special 3 gives you 3 power charges, which is a lot of power charges, but it does consume all of them first. But like, to give you an idea, that is a bar of power every 2.8 seconds, give or take, as long as you have 3 of them active, which means after 6 seconds, a little less than, actually 5.5 give or take, you're gonna have a special 2 already. So I do believe the rotation is actually going to be special 3, then special 2 heavy. And the reason I think it's special 3 is it's only gonna take about 8.25 seconds, give or take, to get to a second special 3 after your first special 3, because I don't see anything here stating that the power charges have a duration on them. I'm under the impression that they're permanent. So you throw a special 3, you'll get 3 of these power charges, and then you'll essentially stall or bait specials to make it so the opponent doesn't have a lot of power. And then you are going to throw another special 3. This will consume all 3 of the power charges that you've gained this way, and it's going to give you a 12-second unstoppable buff, which will also give you instantly regenerates 85% of hit damage for, you know, the duration of that unstoppable buff, which I think is going to be really, really powerful. And the reason I think you throw 2 of these is the first special 3 only gives you essentially a 4-second unstoppable buff, but if you bring that up to 12 within the first 5.5 seconds or so, you will already be at a special 2, and you'll still have another 6 seconds of unstoppability, which I believe is plenty to essentially go special 2 rotation. It consumes 1 power charge. I believe if you're also hitting the opponent, you should be able to get to another special 2, or if you throw this like special 2 right before you get to like a 3rd bar of power, you'll already be most of your way to a special 2. I do believe you'll be able to do special 2, all within this 12-second unstoppable buff rotation, and then you'll be able to immediately heavy while you still have the unstoppable active, and they will have previously been on knocked down, so it will also be unblockable in case they have any kind of auto block or, you know, resist heavy attack, etc. I think that's going to be really, really powerful, and that's kind of the rotation I envision here, is essentially special 3, special 3, special 2, heavy attack. And then you just use the special 1 if you need the slow for any reason, namely if this guy becomes relevant in Abyss of Legends. Now, beyond that, I do think it's really interesting that they have this Mystic Champion who essentially has a similar to like Morningstar mechanic on her awakened ability, with rather than like nullify the abilities, which Morningstar does have access to nullification, I will point that out, but rather than nullify the abilities, he is more about mitigating them and then beating them up with using the buffs to his advantage. And I think that can be very powerful. My only issue is that I don't really see a way for him to reverse power gain, and that's like one of the things I really, really look for in Mystic. It's one of the reasons why I think Doom is so incredibly powerful, is because of his ability to just like hardcore power steal. That's why Magic is still, you know, power control queen, and I really would have liked to see that accessible here, because I think that not having access to essentially power control, he has power mitigation, but full power control definitely makes a huge hit here. And it's also one of the reasons I feel Clairvoyant isn't as powerful as she could be, because she's like power mitigation to an extent, but she doesn't have any hard control either. I do think the potential for like really good damage is here. There's a lot of like Fury effects and buffing effects, and so, you know, tallying up how that will work is kind of tricky. Like my initial impression is it's going to be like I want to say like 18,000 heavy attack after double special 2s, but I'm not too sure, and like that's not including crit or whether or not this stacks with crit, so I'm not quite sure. It could be even bigger or maybe less if I'm calculating wrong. It's just like a rough calculation on my part, but yeah, it's interesting. I think Dragon Man seems cool. I definitely think he's going to be really fun to play, but it's hard for me just like looking at his abilities to see this guy being, you know, replacing Symbiote Supreme, Dr. Doom, and Clairvoyant in the top 3. I think he's gonna cement himself as like a really, really solid Mystic, but still have that like caveat of, oh, there's still 3 powerhouse Mystics that reign supreme. And I could be wrong. These abilities have a lot of potential for him to potentially be like the groundbreaking Mystic for Abyss of Legends if the damage numbers are there. There is some solid utility here in buff management, etc., if you can push that through. And the special 1, Slow, does allow for that ability of like maybe circumventing or bypassing the whole hit counter in Abyss. I really need to see all that for sure. My just initial impression is this guy will be good, but not one of the greatest. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you're all have more input for me and I'm just like overlooking something, or maybe you agree. Share with me. Let me know. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.